Let me give y'all a little rundown. I'm talking about you reacting to our songs. Oh yeah, I've been doing it like occasionally. I haven't been doing it every Twitch stream, but I think I might dedicate some time probably this Thursday. I do this thing where I basically react to everybody's sample flip. You know, I've done it a few times though. I haven't done it every Twitch stream. So, but to get into it, next year, 2024, is roughly, I want to say, counting today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next week, Monday, is the start of a brand new year. Now, I know there are people who come up with things of like, these are my resolutions, these are my goals, these are my aspirations. I'm gonna stick to doing this thing every single day, and I'm not gonna let up. And I want everybody just to take a moment to just think about the fact that we are at the end of 2023. Think about how much has happened this year alone. I think for me personally, I've experienced a huge amount of growth looking back over these last 12 months. I've had a whole change of attitude, whole change of feelings about things. I feel like I've grown. 2023 has taught me a lot about how to really be honest and be my most authentic self, you know. And I think going into next year, I think what we need to prioritize is not just ourselves, but I think there's a space for all of us to be able to like grow together. And I've had some questions pop up on my YouTube, and it's actually been realizing like I'm in a position right now where I'm about to pivot to a new direction. I can't really disclose like what the next direction is right now, but I do know like a lot of what I'm doing with the Twitch stream, a lot of what me posting content online. Content is such a funny word, but I'm posting content constantly, putting videos up. I realize all of this is gonna culminate to one big thing one day. And yeah, resolutions. He said resolutions don't work with me. What I need to work on is obvious to me. Music, yeah. Indie beats, 2023 knowledge, 2024 execution. I love that. New masterclass. You know, this upcoming masterclass, what I think is, because I'm currently in the process of restructuring how my brain is working. Rather than just focusing on primarily just the beats, I think a lot of people have been asking me, how can I translate what I do into a career? Like how, like to quote unquote make money, a business, a plan, you know? And I've learned over the last several years, those without plans tend to float. And I want you guys to grasp this. I'm gonna turn the music down a little bit just so you guys grasp this. But I've learned over the last several years that with our goals, the goals that I have even specifically, it's one thing to just do something repetitively every day. And of course, you make a bunch of beats, you're gonna have a lot of beats to be able to play for people, cool. But I did something crazy, okay? You guys are gonna think this is nuts, but I've been wanting to understand the history behind people who make money in the music business. And I realized a long time ago, I'm not really like in the music business. I'm a creative that utilizes music to promote a product or promote a thing that could potentially help you guys who support me to be able to create what you guys want to create. And so within that, I'm learning that it's more than just the making of the beats, the making of the sounds, the making of the sound design, the work ethic and how you work. And something that I'm learning, I've learned over the course of my life, is that the same way you would treat a typical 9-to-5 job is how you would treat this. Like, I'll be honest with you guys. I have a constant schedule that I've like embedded in my brain to be consistent in for the last 3 years. You're low-key already in the business. That's what I'm saying. Like, I work in, but I work around the business. And and this is what I want to put y'all on game real quick, right? I feel like I've had a lot of people come to me and they ask me, how can I, because like there are people who have already discovered what they want to do, but how can they take what they want to do and then turn it into a business? Like, obviously there's people who have observed your ability, like especially you guys on Discord. People are fully aware of what you guys are doing every single week when y'all make these sample flips. I have buddies of mine that watch our Twitch stream, like probably right now, and they're listening for what they could potentially become a part of. I remember when Logic popped up at the beginning of this year on this Twitch stream, and I was like, holy moly, that's crazy. You know, Logic was one of the coolest connections that I made this year, but that was through you guys. How we've been, like, you know, popping up with the Twitch stream and making these sample flips and stuff. There's a whole community. It's not just me. And I think that's been the coolest part, to discover that someone like Logic would see what's going on here and he's like, yo, I'm gonna do it too. So you say I can't get enough of that bleep. But for Judah 1, I know I'm like already in, but what I'm realizing now, like, it's bigger than just music. And what's funny is, for years I've been talking about, why is it just bigger than music? And I think one word I want to give you guys moving forward into next year is this: leverage. Leverage. Yes, leverage. And I'm going to be talking more about business stuff as the Twitch stream goes on for this next year. That's going to be the thing I want to put y'all on game on, because the last thing I want is for someone who truly wants to be a part of something. Yeah, leverage. I want you guys to understand how leverage works in the game, okay? So think about it like this. This is a particular game. This is a game, the music game, that is. I'll be honest, I'm a very nice guy. You guys will not come across a lot of nice people at all. It happens. My first like 3 to 4 years, when I realized, like, oh man, like a career in music, it's possible. But like, I was like, yo, man, like, I was like, man, this is cool. You know, I'm in, da-da-da-da. Like, would you be down to do the show? Yeah, sure, da-da-da. Man, like, okay, so y'all see what I'm saying? Like, I'm very nice, okay? I'm fair because I realize I'm building my own thing. That I'm building my own thing. I'm trying to create my own thing. But business can be toxic if you don't know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing and you deal with the wrong people, it can get really bad. It can get really bad. Like, I'll even tell you guys like a crazy little story. So I'll try and keep it as not name calling as this one is. But I remember it was approximately 3 years ago, and I sat down in a room with a gentleman who was a part of a release that I was a part of, and they were also part of this company. They wanted to have my music a part of their thing, so I released music with them. Okay, I put out music with them, and what I didn't realize before that, I think it was 2017, I signed this contract for a recording deal. I was just in college. I was 19, barely knew anything. I'm just a fresh kid in college, okay? Fresh kid. I signed this deal. I released some music, and at the time, what it looked like was cool, but then I like fast forward 3 or 4 years later, I'm like, nah, this ain't cool. This ain't cool. But back to the story. I released this music, and the label behind it owned what I made for about 5 years. And I didn't realize they owned it for 5 years until I checked the fine print of why I wasn't getting my money. I signed my masters away for 5 years back in 2017. You do the math, 2017. And what's crazy is I'm now able to be able to like maneuver with that music now because I released it. Feels like slavery, or not to get to it. But here's the thing, man, like I was 19 and no one put me on game about what I was signing up to. Now, here's the craziest part. There were people involved that I thought had my best interests at heart. Of course, they put me on game to some things, but they didn't fully communicate what was going on. And I realized in this business, because there's no like higher ups that can like, hey, like, you don't do that. Like, anything can happen in this game. And so I say that because the last thing I want is for anybody to tune into this Twitch stream and be in a situation like that. Understand negotiation skills. Understand what you want. Because all of this music, all of this stuff that we create, we are sitting on 730 plus ideas for the year of 2023. We could eat on that for the next 10 years if we use it smart. But we have to know what we want and what we're willing to sign ourselves up for. That's why I want to talk business. I want to talk business because I don't want you guys who are watching me to be that person that gets taken advantage of. You can tune in on this Twitch stream, and I'm probably going to have people who know way more than I do about the business end up talking about it. But my story was my masters were owned for 5 years. Now, to get back to this, I had a meeting and I met this guy. The guy was a part of this company that was a part of the release. And this was at the start of 2020. I'll never forget. I had this meeting and we sat down, and they just joined this company that was going to be utilizing the music on this label to basically be like, hey, we're going to be using your music for sync for a library. And I was like, wait, so let me get this straight. Are you paying me to have my music be a part of the library? Like, is that what the deal is? And he goes, no, what you will get is whatever or whenever someone buys your music or wants to use your music in this library, you'll get a fee. Okay? But here's the thing. We will then own whatever you make if you sign this deal. Dude, I just went through the first 3 years and they were trying to take more. They were trying to take more. And I was like, yo. Oh, man. If I were to, and I'm going to eventually explain to you guys like my experience within signing record deals. Unless you have leverage, never sign a deal. I'm sorry. You gotta have leverage to make it work for both parties. If not, someone's getting paid. Someone's getting paid. I don't know how you got out of it without cussing anybody out. Honestly, the saving grace, there was this one gentleman. He's there's this one dude. His name was Joe, and shout out to Joe for getting that whole thing situated. I think he's out here in Florida. Joe, if you see this, dog, you are my savior in this field, dude. I would have turned to Franklin Saint. But let me explain, okay? So that's one situation where it was the label owning the music. Okay, cool. 2020 came, and I remember the one thing that I had, dear God, not Joe Biden, but I remember I had this realization, this epiphany that, like, as a creator, as someone that makes music, I remember there was a dude, I don't want to say his name because I'll get in trouble for just saying people's names. I have to be careful. But I remember this gentleman was like, do you want to just be known as someone who just makes beats online and posts them every day? And I thought about it. You know, there's people who are cool with that, and there's nothing wrong with just making music and then posting it. But if you want to build like a pretty decent career out of it, you got to do more than just make beats, you know? And I was like, I don't want to get into business. It just sucks all the fun out, bro. But I remember thinking like, yo, like, I was fairly young and all of my friends are doing something that is monumentally different. And so I remember 2020 came and I realized I had a voice. I just wasn't willing to give that voice an opportunity to speak. And how I spoke was through music. And so the thing is this, right? With leverage, not only just leveraging the people that you know how people be name dropping, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know how people be like, oh yeah, I work with this person, that person, this person. I know this guy, I know this buddy. That's a form of leverage. Another form of leverage, that's seriously understanding what you're actually doing. You know, right. But like, what is kind of crazy is that, like, what I really wanted to do, and I remember telling my buddy this 10 years ago, I told him I want to be a spearhead in changing the way that people produce their music. Like, I'm sick and tired of seeing really gifted ability people not have the tools it takes to be able to then take what they're doing and then showcase it, and then that showcasing or that ability to showcase and present their art to not be acknowledged. And the one thing I learned years ago is that you really cannot be annoyed with great music. It's impossible. Like, if a song gets really good and you hear thousands of really great songs, you can't get upset hearing it. So my business model was built on, if I can do this thousands of times, that's gonna create a belief, this skill that I have to be able to create the same feeling over and 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 over again. Someone's gonna be willing to pay for it. Okay? Catch what I'm trying to say here. The art speaks for itself, right? Literally what I am doing, I wanted to make sure that I got so good that people are willing to pay for what I do. That is leverage. Because let me tell you how it works. I realized this this year alone, even like over the course of my whole life, I realized I've done gigs. I've traveled to the other parts of the planet. I've done at a very young age a lot of things. But you want to know something? I never had to pay a dime for going to play a show. Never paid a dime for having to go and do a camp. Never paid a dime except for like me wanting to go and travel to LA or something. Like, let's say I go to LA, I'll pay for that out of my pocket because I want to go to LA. But if someone wants me to like be a part of something, they're paying for it. Like I got 5 years on this, bro. It's 5 years worth of people who see what I'm doing. They believe in it and they want me there because of the skill that I have to be able to create consistently. Leverage. That's leverage. So, how do we take that and leverage it for other things? People see that consistency. I post on my YouTube close to, and if not, every day. I take moments of this Twitch stream and I post it online. And as time goes on, I find little things that can make what I'm doing even better. Even what I'm posting on YouTube, this isn't the end. It's not like right now it's not as good as my brain is conceiving. I am thinking of tools. I'm thinking of things that could potentially further my growth. Leverage. Use that information to leverage to the next space. You know, they invested in you and see success. That's a risk on their part. So you know a lot. Right, there's trust right there. Think about it like a trust fund. That's how it works, bro. Imagine these big artists that go and do these festivals. They paying out of pocket big dollars because the return on the investment is so much more than the artist is even getting. Think about Coachella. Yeah, bro. I'm telling you, this is how the game goes. And if we understand, if you guys, for those of you guys who don't understand how business goes, we'll be talking more and more about this as the Twitch stream goes on. And like next year is primarily about protecting what you have as a creative and how you can then leverage to be able to build what you want. Okay? And I realize this, not everybody who watches Twitch stream wants to just make beats, and everybody has their own goals. But the one thing I want you guys to understand moving forward, any lawyers in the chat? I do know there's a bunch of people who do work in legal that have popped up on my Twitch stream before, so definitely keep that in mind. But the one thing I want everybody that joins my Twitch stream not only to come away knowing from just the production and how to leverage your skills so other people can invest. You guys deserve to know how to protect everything we just created over the last 2 years. He said, gotta call Saul. I promise you,